projects differently. So at what point do we choose these people? I do not know. Maybe from the 5th semester onwards, 2 years should be fine. So whether this can be done, have a stream, because if you have that stream, but then nowadays I don't know whether they will be willing to come into such a stream. I'm not very sure about that. I mean, students want all, they want to eat, have the cake and eat it too. So that I do not know. But if we are able to do that, then that's one additional advantage. But I feel that they have to be shown what can be achieved. Otherwise, they are not interested. Because students, for them to really be, I'm talking about 40 to 50% of, maybe even 60% of the students. There may be 30, 40 that will anyway be involved in this. Those are the people we have to address. Because they may not be, as you said, the toppers. But toppers are not necessarily the best toppers, my opinion, because they never have faced failure. People who have faced failure are better entrepreneurs than the people who have not faced failure. That's my opinion. Yeah, so that's it. I just wanted to say something.
Let's request some of the students to ask questions, maybe to the Force Startup or the Startup Village. Suma is there. So I would encourage the student, if there is something in your mind, be entrepreneurial, stand up and ask a question. Either the gentleman or Suma will answer you.
Sir, I'm not a student, sir. Because you expected me to say from a student.
We are lifelong students, sir.
Sir, I'm not Rupendra Roy. I'm representing Mugambige College of Engineering. My humble submission is to AICTE and University. A lot of support and encouragement is being given to entrepreneurs. But once a student takes up entrepreneurship, while he is doing in his college day, he faces a lot of problems. Especially, as ma'am said, toppers don't come to entrepreneurship. Only students who are having ideas and who are weak generally come to entrepreneurship. And what happens is, you know that this concept of entrepreneurship and everything is well within our community. So even parents are not encouraging them. They prefer their kids to go for good placements and all. So they have to take the risk of completing their exams in a good manner, and at the same time they have to do well in entrepreneurship. So some sort of flexibility, as ma'am said in the last point, some sort of flexibility has to be done for people who are taking entrepreneurship seriously in their colleges. So that flexibility should be there, so that they enjoy the privilege of taking the risk, because they are taking huge risk, because they are not preferring the usual path of going for placements. They have to take risk for going towards entrepreneurship, and at the same time they have to fare well in their exams. So this problem is existing, and even though management supports us, there are faculty members who say that, okay, I cannot leave my student, he has to get good marks. So such type of flexibility has to come out from either AICTE or Anna University, so that a student have some sort of flexibility, so that he can take these exams on his own, and he prefers the toughest path. So he has to be given some encouragement, at least from the curriculum frameworks or policy makers. So this is my humble submission. I do understand that there are a lot of problems and reservations happening here, because I am also from education side. But anyhow, such issues are seriously pulling back students. Because when we invite them, they say, sir, I have to complete my exam, sir. I have to score good marks. Moreover, my father is saying that I should get this much of marks. My first secure marks, then I'll come here. So this problem is happening parallelly. So this has to be addressed. Thank you.
In a small way, we have introduced flexibility for students to be allowed to drop courses and also take a 1 year off to go to the industry and do things without affecting their...
That is for Anna University, not for affiliated institutions.
Also, we are in the process. We finished the board of studies, so we are in the process. So small amount. I am not saying that's sufficient. This is for all students, not necessarily entrepreneurship.
This is a very good initiative, because generally what happens is that there is a fear of losing out, as you rightly said. So this actually provides an opportunity for them, and very cuts very closely with what Vishwanath said about the prototype semester. So I guess maybe some connect with that, I think, can be made to the board of studies. Where somebody wants to really do business, maybe he can be authorized to go for a prototyping semester and then come back. So that may be a pretty good idea. Maybe some inputs, maybe you can give them in a formal way.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. There are two streams. One is Anna University Constituent colleges. other is Anna University affiliated colleges. This curriculum development as entrepreneurial development as a subject, it may not be possible for us to introduce it in any middle stage, or there must be an elective or something like that. That much of flexibility Anna University should give. For the constituent colleges, it's all right. For the affiliated colleges, where do we stand?
You can introduce an elective at any point of time, there is no problem. And it is, now we are in the board of study stage, it's possible to introduce any elective at any time. But then I said, no, the complete thing, that we have to change the whole curriculum a little bit. That's not so easy, but flexibility is there, you can introduce an elective. Any time after you get the, if you give it 6 months before, it can be introduced. That's not a problem for whatever the college under Anna University.
Excuse me. Myself, Dr. Saravanan, Principal, Asian Engineering College, Bangalore.
Previous question can.
Yeah. I'll tell you the latest at the AICTE. So there was a meeting 2 weeks back, and it's all with affiliated colleges, and all these inputs are going in. It's not like we're not sitting here and doing. So the latest after the Gujarat session, what is happening at the AICTE is the MG University Vice Chancellor and the Gujarat Technical University Vice Chancellor, they are both together creating a new track. This track that Madam is saying, right? So what we've realized is there is an academic track which has been set for the last 30-40 years. The moment you touch that, everybody gets very confused. So let that remain as it is, right? We are creating this new startup track, which has been clearly outlined in the AICTE policy. And in the startup track, the student after 4th semester will have a choice. Should I be only academic only, or can I join this academic track plus startup track, or am I like a full risk taker who will join only startup track? Okay. Now the startup track is fundamentally an outcome-based track. The classes and all of that will dramatically reduce after your 4th semester. You have to create real products and create real companies, real employment, real jobs. Okay. And you attach yourself with incubators or accelerators so that you get real industry support. So after completing 50% of your time in your college, you go do this and then you create the outcomes. This automatically loads up to a master's program. So it's fundamentally slightly higher level than your regular engineering because the guy is actually doing real engineering. So now to create this new masters in startup, they will write to UGC because a new nomenclature itself has to be created. So the high level thing is a new track is being designed. The exact contours and structure not yet finalized. The person who is finalizing it is 2 vice chancellors from MG University and Gujarat Technical University. It will allow students an option to take both together depending on their ability. Take only one saying I don't want ever to do a startup. High risk students can do only startup. If you take the high risk and then decide, oh, this is not happening, you can fall back to your regular original academic track. So new track is being designed at AICTE, but AICTE can only design the track. The university has to adopt it. So and we are actually eagerly looking forward to more inputs from real faculty on the real pain point in the ground, so that we can clearly move faster. See, the faster you give inputs, the faster we will change. And think of the AICTE policy like Android, every 6 months new version will come.
Yeah. To add on to what he's saying, if we can start before this gets adapted, it takes some time. The easiest way to do this is to have certain electives which are activity based, which can be introduced immediately. If you can bring in 1 or 2 connected electives, 6, 7, something like that, that doesn't need much change from the university viewpoint and can be done immediately. That can be a starting point and we can learn from the mistakes we do there before we do a complete track. That's my opinion as an academic.
Good evening. Myself, Dr. Saravanan, Principal, Asian Engineering College, Coimbatore. A small, humble suggestion to this panel board. To put the policy 2016 AICTE startup, which is available in the paper, straight away into practice, and in order to reach the 8 lakh students affiliated to Anna University, Coimbatore. Already this entrepreneurship development as elective paper in mechanical engineering stream is available. It is highly impossible for us affiliated type of either the college, to introduce a mainstream. But in our Anna University, there is a provision that Unit 6 not for examination. So with a single circular from the registrar, immediate the outcome or impact of this workshop from first year to final year, an interest subject or it may not be for the examination purpose, but only for the a small startup to create this entrepreneurship awareness for all the 8,000 students, we can teach them. So that the students will understand that AICTE has started this policy and things are going this. At least in these 8 lakh students, either the 80 or 800 or 8,000 may come forward so that this EDP will have a greater impact out of this one-day AICTE workshop. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to talk on the aspects of IPR and startup. I would like to connect the IPR aspects in this startup. If you want to start a startup company, it must be within 5 years and annual turnover must be 25 crores. The third important criteria is it should have applied for a patent or any IP, intellectual property. Otherwise, you cannot sustain or you cannot call as a startup company. So without patenting, you cannot start. This you must tell to the student. Members also telling about that idea can be prototype and so on. As per the patent law, only idea cannot be patented. It should be a prototype. So that is very important point. You may have many ideas and it has 3 criteria. It should be novel. Many ideas have come. A lot of engineering college students have a lot of ideas, but I assured them that 99% it cannot be patented because all the ideas are previously available in this world. You should not search in Google, you should go to the individual country patent office and check. I think many of the students have come to our center for patenting, 99% will say no, because they don't know how to convert the real idea into patent, they don't know how to add the inventive step. This is my experience in the Center for Intellectual Property Rights. Then how it is different from MSME and so on. Okay, you make people entrepreneur, but you should tell them also you should first apply for a patent. In this scenario, what the government of India is doing, what the patent office is doing, what ANNA is doing, I'm going to explain in 2 minutes. The government of India allocated 10,000 crores for this, for especially for the startups. For this year, 2,500 crores, not even 40% has been taxed, remaining 50% available with the government. And for the startup, there are 3 years, no tax, tax holiday, and no inspection for 3 years. Credit guarantee scheme is also available for the startup. These are the benefits you can tell your students. And patent office identified some of the facilitators for patenting. In India, they have identified only 6 institutions. Anna University is one of the institutions which are acting as a facilitator for startups. There is no charge from the startups. If students have an idea, they want to start a startup company, they can approach Anna University. No fees is collected. We will do all the process starting from searching the database as well as filing the patent, even answering or hearing the questions raised by the examiners at the patent office. So all these things are fully free done by the Anna University. And I would like to give 7 important points for you to take away to inform your colleagues or your students or anybody in this world. Number 1 is ask them to first register the startup company. There are some procedure, you can see the website, and they should have own IP. There is no point in starting a company, a startup company without own IP. First you register the patent office, then you discuss with others. Then try to apply at least provisional applications. It is valid for 1 year, then you can go for complete specifications. And there is a procedure also.